Welcome to PetesGuide. This is Metric Monday. In a recent episode, I added a second 4mm hex bit to my toolkit so that I could install and uninstall Chicago screws. And I realized a while ago that a key part of building my ideal metric toolkit would be to enable this type of installation. It's not just for Chicago screws, but for every type of fastener that requires two drives, one on the back, one on the front. And I don't know if they're always going to be symmetrical like that, but the traditional, other than Chicago screws, the traditional method, the traditional type of fastener that requires two identical or similar drivers are hex nuts and bolts. And when I bought this toolkit, it came with the standard, just regular, nothing special about them, hex sockets. I think it came with a 10. I added the 8, or it came with both of these. I can see it right here. But Wera has an interesting variation on this called the HF style. HF stands for holding function. So for these sockets, there are little ball detents inside the socket. This one has 2 on one edge. The 8mm socket has 2 on opposing sides. And well, that fell out. That's frustrating. So for me to be able to install and remove M6 fasteners with hex heads and nuts, I could just put both of these sockets back in. That's the 10 and that's the 10. So I could just use these. And of course, you want to use the holding function on the nut rather than the bolt in most cases, right? Because when you remove the nut, it gets held in the socket, and the bolt is typically going to be maybe too heavy to come out. Oh, and I just realized I need a special tool to be able to get that nut out without having to screw it back onto a post. But I recently decided that there was another type of fastener that I needed. Let's get that plugged in the right way. So I'm not going to use the standard sockets that came with this toolkit. I'm going to go for the 12-point sockets. And I can't get them from Wera. So I can't get them with the holding function. I can't get them with the color coding. But I'm doing this because my original plan was to use one of these wrenches. I think this was the first one I bought. This handles everything from 7mm to 8mm. So I could use this on the backside for the nuts. But and it kind of has a holding function if you do it right. Well, no, this doesn't have a holding function. It will keep itself ratcheting, which is kind of unusual for a self-adjusting wrench. This is the one that has the holding function. I can actually take the, which way are we going to do this? I can take the nut off. Let's take the nut off. I can slide it in backwards here. And, pardon me, I was not planning on dropping a nut. And I think that's a good example of why I have found this insufficient, because you have to have this aligned just right for the holding function to work. It's not going to hold in all positions. So it's kind of it's got teeth in 12-point positions for like 180 degrees. And so every other position, the nut drops through. I don't like that. So I'm going to set these aside and use the holding function and the 12-point sockets. So, and that's one reason why I have 2 of the square drive adapters, so that I can do this. No, that's 10. I was going to do 2 12-point sockets, and really what I need is one 12 and one 6. So both 10. So let's get the holding function on the nut. And there's that. And there's that. So this is is that going down? There we are. Okay. So now I have the ability with this toolkit to fully install M6 nuts and bolts from both sides with one holding function socket and one 12-point socket. And let me know down in the comments if you can think of a reason why I might want to have the 12-point socket instead of 2 6-sided sockets, 2 hexagon sockets. Do you think there's a fastener that needs those? And if so, can I find it in both the bolt and nut? I'm not sure that's the case. I'm not sure I've seen any 12-point nuts. So, but really the main question I have for you guys is, how many other fasteners need identical or similar drives on both sides, on the top and the bottom, on the screw and the nut? I think I might have taken care of all of them. I've got the M4 hex internal Allen key for Chicago screws, and now I have 2 sockets of 8mm and 10mm for regular hex nuts and bolts, and I think I can find some 12-point M6 bolts. What do you say? What am I missing? What else do I need to be able to attach the bottom and top fasteners for an M6 fastener? Screw, bolt, nut, captive nut, etc. I think I've got it covered, but I'm not really sure, so I'm looking for advice. If you know, let me know down in the comments. This is PetesGuide, closing down.